Hi everyone, Jill here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to a wig chat. Today this wig chat is brought to you by Wigs by Pattis Pearls. They were so kind to send me this to share with you today. We're taking a look at Ruby today by Jon Renau in a color I have never tried, so I'm a little excited to take a look at this. This is in the color Shaded Sun. I'm going to give you the color code. It's a long one. It is 27T613S8, and that S8 I do know means that root is the 8 root. So just like Shaded Praline 12FS8, so it does have that dark 8 root, which actually doesn't really bother me. It should, probably, because I have quite fair skin, but I don't know. I just loved Shaded Praline so much I overlook that, and it's something that I just don't focus on. All right, so before we take a look at this one, let's take a look at the cap, because the cap is fairly basic. There are some really lovely additions though to a kind of basic cap. So here is the cap here. This is the average size. If this comes in a petite or a large, I'll make sure to put that information down in the description box for you, or maybe I'll pop it up here in editing. But let's look at this now. This does have machine wefts all through here, machine wefted. However, it has a closed cap, completely closed cap here with permatease all up in here. But we do have the Jon Renau, and this is truly like a temple to temple lacing here, and it's their smart lace. You do not trim this kind of lacing at all. It's conformed. It's especially already trimmed in a way that it will just melt and just fit right on you, kind of that front hairline for you down onto the upper part of your forehead. So no trimming required with this. It's just ready to go, hence the name Smart Lace. One thing that it does give is beautifully soft temple tabs or ear tabs. This has that really lovely velvet, or could be moleskin, which I love that feature. I have less itching there when it's there, and I really appreciate that. The other thing I also love when I can get it is an extended nape, and this also has that really soft moleskin or velvet, which again, to me, gives me a little bit more of a level of comfort that I definitely can notice when my wigs have those features. Jon Renau has really nice metal stays in their wigs. They're always quite firm, and I appreciate that as well. A good firm metal stay is lovely. You can just make sure it's cupped right to the side of your head and it's going to stay there, no issues. And I really think that needs to be noted because it's kind of an underrated feature, I think. I do love good metal stays. This is beautiful. I have not seen Shaded Sun in person. I've only watched videos with it on YouTube. And I have to say, it is quite pretty. Now, it is definitely more warm than the Shaded Praline, for instance, but it isn't as warm as I imagined it to be. And for me, I'm pleasantly surprised, really, about that. I don't see like a goldy yellow going on here, although I do see some pretty kind of caramel colors coming through. The highlighting is subtle but very, very pretty. This is, like Shaded Praline, a very beautiful, very natural looking color. You will probably get people commenting how pretty your color is. So something that just looking at this, I can already tell, especially kind of where it's all sort of laying flat back here, is it is shiny. I would not feel comfortable unless I did some dry shampoo in this, even though it's quite short. It's just, especially, I don't know, it's just a little too shiny for me. So some dry shampoo definitely is in order, in my opinion. All right, so now if you wear Toni Brattin wigs, which many of you do, I will say that this particular style anyway, the average fits a little tighter than the average in the Toni Brattin wigs. I'm just going to throw that out there. And you'll also find my head measurements down in the description box, so you have something to go by when I say things like that. All right, so we do have a little box here to contend with. but that's okay. I did bring out products here that I work with, and I use these with my wigs. And I would say within the last several months, I have used regular human hairspray on my wigs. Just be careful of the alcohol content in those, where it will really dry out those synthetic fibers. But I've been using these and they have been working fine. I've washed a couple wigs that I've used these in and it washes out fine. You're going to want to make sure that your hairspray is water soluble. Nowadays, I think most hairsprays are water soluble and they'll just come out when you wash your own hair, and they will as well with your fibers. But I'm going to put that out there for you to decide, because the manufacturers definitely recommend that you only use products made for synthetic fibers. And so that's what I did for the last, well, since the beginning of my journey. So it wasn't until several months back that I started experimenting with actual human hairspray, the aerosol kind. I would definitely put some dry shampoo in this. You know, these fibers here lay very close to the cap and they're very soft. They have a lot of silicone sort of in there and they're very shiny. So to me, that screams synthetic, and I would have to rough that up both with the texture that a dry shampoo gives you, as well as dull the shine. So I love this right now. This is my favorite dry shampoo. I've tried many. It's Kenra's Volume Dry Shampoo. It gives you the texture that I personally look for in a dry shampoo without a lot of that powderiness. So I have also used a dry shampoo that doesn't give me any of that powder, but it also didn't help with the texture. And I look for that. I use my dry shampoos as a styling aid. They also help my other styling aids work better, because those styling aids can stick to the fibers, not the fibers, but sort of what this dry shampoo, that texture it gives. So everything just works better. But I love this dry shampoo. I'll put the links to all of these down in the description box as well. Love that. So that's going to happen. Now, hairspray wise, if you would just really like to stick to that manufacturer suggestion and really only use stuff that's made for synthetic fibers, this is my favorite hairspray. It was quite a journey to land on this. I was looking for a good hairspray. And when you start using hairsprays made for your wigs, your synthetic fibers, you'll find that they don't behave like you're used to hairsprays behaving. So it was quite a journey. I've tried many, I would say about 4 or so different brands and kinds, and this is my favorite so far. There's a fine line between not holding at all and being way too sticky. This one is kind of in a happy middle, and I'm really happy with it. It's the BeautiMark's Style and Hold Hairspray. It works it works very well, actually. So the hairsprays that I've only used 2 human hairsprays that I've experimented with, and I haven't, these both work really great, and I just haven't felt it necessary to try any others. So the first one is the TRESEMME. This is the number 4 hold hairspray with that sort of lime green stripe right there. Again, I'll link this down below. This works very well. It comes out. I have shampooed a wig with this that I used several times in between, and it's been fine. So I haven't had any issues using this particular hairspray. It's aerosol. And then I also love the Sebastian Reshaper. This is probably my favorite. I absolutely have always loved Sebastian products back in the 80s when I was, the high time of my styling days. Absolutely love Sebastian. So this is a hairspray that I just continued to use on my human hair back in the day. So I usually have this around and decided to try it, and again, I've not had any issues. Anywho, so I like using these because they give sort of a very fine aerosol mist, and it really doesn't weigh the fibers down because it's quite light. And I can get more of an airy sort of style and lift the little fibers, which is something that I really love to do with my wigs. I think it gives a very realistic look, and it's hard to get that with a sort of a pump, more of a watery sort of spray. You know, this can technically sort of weigh the fibers down a little bit, but yet it gives you some nice hold. Whereas this, and I'll combine these actually, well, usually this with one or the other of this. Um, but this gives, it's just lighter. So it seems to let my style last a little longer before it just starts falling on itself, because that's what synthetic wig fibers do. Over time, gravity takes over and they sort of start falling. Before you know it, whatever the style is, it sort of looks like a little bit like a helmet, and that's virtually very difficult to get around. But I find that, yes, I may have to refresh the style a little bit. I'll tuck away in a bathroom somewhere and respray it. But for the most part, it stays a lot longer when I use like those types of aerosol hairsprays. So let's take a look at this before I add dry shampoo, before I go and style it. Because of the nature of where I'm filming, I don't have any place to see what I'm doing to style, so I'm gonna go in my bathroom, style it a little bit, and then I'll come back out. I know you guys probably don't like that, but that's what I'll have to do this time. Okay, so not mess with it at all, stuck it on my head, maybe did this to it, but let's go ahead and take a gander at Ruby here from all sides. We're starting to get a little bit of sun, just the littlest bit. The clouds are parting, so that'll be great. Now remember, there are vertical metal stays in the nape area back here as well, and those are designed for you to just sort of take them and just kind of sort of pinch them so the nape will cup in toward your own nape. And that does help kind of keep that to your nape, tucking it in. So when you look down, those fibers, you know, like to stay close to your own nape and they won't sort of lift up back there. With that said, I'm going to be very honest with you. As your synthetic fibers break down and they start getting a little stiff, they start sticking together, even when they're this short, you will probably have some of that happen down the way. Even when you have this cupped in, you know, that is something that just ends up happening. And if that's something that really bothers you, it may be something you can take a little steam to and kind of relax those fibers and soften them out a little more, and it'll prolong that life. And then over time, it's just a sign that maybe you need to get a new one. And I do want to say the breakdown process happens fairly quickly, surprisingly quickly, I think. And it just depends on how often you wear it. It depends on what sort of friction that you have. If you have a sweater or a coat or some sort of high collar situation that's constantly rubbing, it is going to occur quicker, even faster. All right, so I dry shampooed this and really just lifting the fibers, and I dry shampooed it on my head. You don't have to do that, but I do, just because I also, again, I use the dry shampoo like a styling aid. And just doing that, it really sort of weighed down the fibers a little bit more and made it easier for me to style. And then it made it easier for the hairspray to work. And, you know, you can use a styling creme or cream in this. I think that would really slick it out. And the styling cream is the heaviest of the styling products, so you would be able to just kind of piece out pieces if you want it to really lay close to your head, or I mean your face. It might be a good idea to use that. You know, these sort of pixie styles are really, you can have fun with these. I know they seem like they just sort of pigeonhole you into just one style. So not the case. These pixies I have really fallen in love with this summer. Way out of my comfort zone actually trying short styles like this, but Toni Brattin, that whole line really opened my eyes and broadened my comfort zone when it comes to these very short pixie styles. This is quite short. Now it's short all the way back in here. I do kind of prefer a little more movement in the back. This stays very close and slick to the back of your head. That very smooth and flat back there before you even put on your little pixie like this, because you're going to want to have, you know, this really stay close to your the natural plane of your head to give you a very good natural look. I would like to kind of steam, I don't know, this side down a little flatter to my head here. This has this really kind of nice long little point thing, and it does stay quite close to my head, kind of like that. So here I pulled this up specifically. Now you don't have to pull this up, obviously, but I wanted to do this just to show you that you can do this. This is a beautiful lace front, and by all means show it off. And with that dry shampoo, getting it down in there and adding some hairspray, you know, I was able to sort of lift that up a little bit. You could even do it a little more drastically as well. And even a little steam would do that and sort of solidify that in there for you. But you've got that beautiful lace front. You can even do some kind of cute little clip here. You know, that looks cute in pixies as well. So it's nice having that lace front even in a short little style that obviously has bangs, just to give you that extra option, especially when you don't have any monofilament up here, because this kind of style can be, the messier the better. I think pixies look so cute when they're just all over the place and just kind of messy. That was something I had to kind of teach myself when I first started wearing pixies. I really wanted to style them, and then I found out it's best if I just sort of do them every which way, figure out first if it goes better this way or if the fibers want to go better this way, and then just start letting them fall where they may. And then I'll go ahead, you know, and add some hairspray just to kind of tweak things and to keep things where I ended up liking to see them. These pixies, they're easy wears. Again, I think they look better messy, but still don't be afraid to use some styling product in there, because you want it to stay, you know, pretty. You want to train it the way that you really like it. So the next time you put it on, you don't have to mess with it so much. Maybe just a little here and there and you're good to go. Don't forget that, you know, you don't have to style that wig with all of that product. Like, I won't have to use dry shampoo in this probably again until I wash it. So that's in there. And even the styling, you know, like the hairsprays, that's in there too. Now that's going to kind of need to be refreshed probably every time I put it on, but nothing like the first time I put it on. So it's kind of in there, you know, and so I mess with it a little to figure out where it wants to go. And then once it's in there, I'm good and I fix it. And the next time I put it on, it's much faster, and these are easy. You know, you don't have to worry about a whole lot when you got these on. And they're great to wear all day long, great work wigs. These are workhorses, these pixie styles. They really are, and they are going to last you quite a long time. You're going to get longer wear with these short styles than you would obviously with your medium or longer wigs. So keep that in mind as well. I think they are great investments. I think you should try to get a couple short pixies that you feel really cute and sassy in, because when nothing's working, I'm telling you, once you get your hair slicked really down, you can just put these on and they're going to look really cute all day long. All right, thanks so much for tuning in today in this Wig Chat on Ruby by Jon Renau in Shaded Sun. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.